Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am playing Ironsworn Starforged. This is episode 6. If you're not familiar with this game, it is a solo RPG, although I guess you could play it with a small group, but I'm playing it solo. My captain's name is Jax Vero. And if you haven't caught any of the previous episodes, I would highly encourage you to go back and watch them because otherwise this probably won't make a lot of sense right now. What I'm going to do is just give you a real quick recap of the last few episodes. My captain was given a task by the Wayfarers, he's a member of this organization, to go investigate some coordinates that were deciphered from an alien computer. Jax and his ship, the Astralis, arrived at the coordinates after some encounters. They had some problems, some breakage, things like that, but they finally got to their destination. And when they did, they discovered a derelict spaceship near an asteroid belt. Jax was able to enter the derelict against the AI. Dervish is the AI of the ship. Dervish did not want him going on board. He did it anyway, and what he found was a derelict ship. There was a hole cut in the side as if someone else had been there in the past, and the ship did appear to be sort of gutted, but there was something laying on one of the tables. Jax wasn't able to decipher what it is. He's going to take it back to the ship. During his few hours on the ship, actually it was more than a few, he got word from Dervish that there was a collision between a couple asteroids, very large ones, in the nearby asteroid belt, and there is now an asteroid that is heading towards the ship. It's hard to tell at this point if it's, Dervish seems to believe it could impact the derelict ship or the Astralis. So Dervish has called me back, and Jax is heading back to the ship with the artifact in hand, and he's got to get on board the ship and figure out what to do next. So what has happened is Jax is out in space. He's in his spacesuit, and he is making his way back to the ship. There's no real danger right now. The derelict is unpowered, hasn't really shown any life, and the asteroid is still probably an hour away. It's speeding in the direction. So Jax has time to enter the ship, and when he does, he takes the artifact, and it's small, like maybe a tool of some sort. Got some strange connections and things on it. It could be a piece of plumbing. Who knows? He doesn't know. But he does have Dervish scan it very quickly for anything bad. And it's not a bomb. It's got there's no microbes on it that might hurt him. So he puts it on he straps it into a wall container with a mesh bag, to hold it so that it doesn't go flying off if gravity is lost. And he gets in the captain's seat and he asks Dervish for an update on the asteroid. Dervish tells him that the asteroid is probably 40 minutes away, and she recommends that they move the Astralis a safe distance. She can calculate the trajectory, and she believes that, this is a large asteroid, okay, a very large one. So she's like, it's not going to hit the derelict directly, but it could scrape it or bump it, and she's not able to calculate the trajectory that the derelict will head. So she asks if she can take the ship to a safe distance, still within monitoring distance of the derelict. And of course, I totally agree with that. I tell Dervish, look, get the ship fired up, get the thrusters fired up, and get us to a safe distance. We probably are going to want to shoot some video of the derelict if it survives the impact, and then we'll figure out where to go from there. So what is going to happen right now is Dervish is going to take the ship a reasonable distance away. A reasonable distance meaning that she's able to calculate how far away we need to be so that the asteroid doesn't hit us on the Astralis, and when it hits the derelict, it may not send the derelict speeding in our direction. I suspect that when a massive asteroid hits a very small object, it probably can send it at a high velocity. So I let Dervish handle all the math, and over the next half hour, she has put the thrusters on. I've remained in my seat, and we are now at a safe distance to watch as this large asteroid it may destroy the derelict. She is not 100% certain. The velocity of the asteroid is pretty high, so she just doesn't have any data on the ship structure and things like that. So while we wait for the asteroid to hit, I want to throw in something random. We're watching, and so let's see, how about fulfill your vow, no. Heal, hearten, lose momentum, make a connection, no. React under fire, that's combat. Set a course, set a flag, sojourn, strike, swear and unveil, take a break, take a decisive action, undertake an expedition, withstand damage. Let's do take decisive action. That's on page 194. And I've got to, while the ship is under thrust, I'm talking with Dervish over what do we do next. We've got this artifact, and there is a ship. I mean, we were expecting to find something at these coordinates, and so we have found the coordinates. The question is, have we done enough? Should we return? Should we return to the Wayfarers? Kira Sedano is the one who gave me the task. Have we done enough? Is going back and saying, here's a ship, it's floating, and it may not be in a little bit, and here's an artifact I found. So yeah, there was something there, but now it's not there, and I'm not quite sure if that's enough. So let's do take a decisive action. We're not doing a fight. We are in control. So let's see. That is actually not going to work. That is definitely something for combat. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to ask just went blank on it. Ask the Oracle. I knew there was something I was forgetting. I was like, what is the name of that thing? So let's go to ask the Oracle. And that is on page, if I can find it real quick, the Oracles. It's right after the monsters, I believe. Yep, using the Oracles. So let's see if the Oracle can help us. Maybe we should roll to see if there's a spaceborne opportunity within range. So I asked Dervish, I say, Dervish, we were sent to these coordinates, we found the ship, and we found the asteroid belt, but did we miss something? Is there anything that we could have missed? Let's see what she says, what the Oracle says. That is a 57. Blue is high for me. 57, impressive vista offers comfort or inspiration. Okay, so as I'm waiting for this asteroid, I can see this asteroid belt out in front of me. And I'm not 100% certain that the ship is necessarily the only clue or the only object of interest out here. The asteroid belt it had, if I remember right, I rolled that it had some ore, right? What was it? Episode 5, mineral asteroids. So could be valuable. So I begin to talk to Dervish and I ask her, I say, could the location of this ship have something to do with the fact that this asteroid belt has high mineral supply? Because a lot of asteroid belts apparently don't have that, because this was something that was a surprise. Oh, hey, look, it's high in ore. So not only are the Wayfarers probably going to have access now to an asteroid belt that could be mined, possibly for money, or maybe the information could be traded for something else. But as I'm staring at the asteroid belt, it occurs to me that these two things may or may not be linked together. So Dervish pings me and she says, we've got a countdown about 30 seconds before the ship is hit. And I ask her if she can zoom in on it. I want to see it. And so she does. And so let's see how bad it is. What I'd like to do is roll to see if the ship is knocked severely off course. I would say there's a 50-50 shot. Let's say under 50, it's going to get sent somewhere. I rolled a 30. So as I watch the screen, the asteroid clips the ship, and obviously the asteroid's not going to deflect, but it puts the ship in a spin. And the ship starts spinning, and it's heading in a direction. And I'm really sort of upset because I guess we could predict. I asked Dervish, I say, can you predict the course of the ship should we need to find it again? And Dervish is a pretty smart AI. I would give her, let's give her an 80% chance, anything under 80. I rolled 23. Dervish is confident that the ship, the derelict, that its course can be predicted for long term. But I also want to know, is there a chance, you know, the ship was, the starship or whatever was, it was underpowered. It was unpowered, excuse me. I want to roll to see, this will be unknown to me. I want to roll to see what the starship's mission may have been. This is outside of what I know, but this could help me. We're in the Expanse, so I rolled a 47. Hold prisoners. Interesting. I didn't see any way to, you know, I didn't see the whole ship, but it didn't appear to me to be a prisoner ship. But there was a hole in the side. Maybe it was a prisoner escape or a rescue mission or something like that. I am really not sure. But I also am trying to figure out, why were these coordinates in this ship computer back on Providence? Why were they pointing to this ship? What, you know, was it just like a record of, oh, hey, there's a ship out here? Ships are designed to move. They're not designed to stay in one space. So why would these coordinates give me a place where there was a derelict ship that wasn't moving? It doesn't make sense that an old ship computer would point to a place that most likely would be empty, right? Decades, hundreds of years, thousands of years, we don't know. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw a curve at the story, and I'm going to do Change Your Fate, page 143. Change Your Fate. Let me look at what that is. When you encounter flagged content, reject an order, resist a consequence, or otherwise need to shift your circumstances. Let's do that. Let's just see what happens. Choose one of these options. It is a move, but it's not something I have to roll for. So I am going to do this. I'm going to refocus on the ship. The ship is now spinning out of position, but something happens. Something happens.
Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and let me interrupt this video for about 30 seconds to let you know about my new Patreon. It's just $2 a month. And all of my patrons get access to all of my videos that normally appear on YouTube, but they get them a week earlier than normal. I also have a number of games that I play privately that only my patrons have access to. In addition, once a week, we do a live miniature painting session. You come online with me and we paint and chat. I also do a once a month live chat session. We talk about anything and everything. If this sounds of interest to you, check the video description below. There's a link to my Patreon. Like I said, it's just $2 a month, and what those extra funds allow me to do is make more videos, and that's what I want to do. So I hope you'll consider joining me as a patron, and now let's get back to the video.
The ship is, you know what? The ship comes to a complete stop. Comes to a complete stop. Dervish tells me, she says, this is unusual, and I'm looking at the screen, I'm going, yeah, what just happened? She says, it appears that some of the systems on the ship have become active. I detected a number of micro thrusters on the ship that all fired in different sequences. And now the ship is once again stationary. It's not floating. It has stopped its spin, and it is not drifting either. It is positioned exactly as it was, not in the same spot, but it is positioned in space so as not to drift, like it's locked in these coordinates. And she surmises that if I were to drop into these coordinates, the ship would have been able to detect this derelict. It didn't get knocked off that far. So interesting that it has you come okay. You roll, and when you pay the price, discover a hold. You realize this. Okay, so yeah, I can do that. I can change the fate. Oh, it's right here. Change your fate. Pause and identify what needs to be changed. Choose as many options as you can. So I reframed it. and I'm going to refocus on the ship. I ask her, I say, is there anything, do you detect life on board the ship now? I would say there's like a 95% chance there's no life. I rolled a 97. She says her scans did pick up something momentarily, but it wouldn't qualify as life. There was not life on board that ship. But she thinks that possibly it was a ship system, maybe a computer system, something that gave off an energy signal that could have been misinterpreted as a life form signal or a detection of life energy, but it's gone. And then she surmises that the ship may still have some power enough to go active should it need to. But then she starts questioning, why would the ship want to stay here? And we have a discussion. And then she scans the ship and she, you know what? She notices something that I didn't notice. Because I'm looking at the screen and where the way the ship is oriented, I can't tell. Space is so vast. But Dervish informs me that not only has the ship come to a complete stop with the thrusters firing, but the ship is pointed in the exact same direction that it was before it got hit by the asteroid. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that happening, Dervish? She says it 43%. She says no. She goes she goes the ship's computer could have been programmed to maintain its last heading, but she said for the ship to if that were the case, why drifting? Drifting is the key. If the ship were to drift, even for 100 years, wherever it's pointing would be different, right? Even in the vastness of space, that angle would change. She surmises, actually no, she does say that the ship is pointed, she's only able to detect this. I can't do it with a visible eye. She tells me that the angle of the ship has changed in a 0.021%. And I say, but it's pointing to the naked eye, it would be pointing in the same direction. And I tell her, I ask her, I say, if the ship were here, and now it's here, and the ship were pointing in this direction, and now it's pointing in the same direction, but there's a slight, remember, the angle is slightly different. I ask her, I say, can you calculate where these two lines meet up? How far of a distance do they meet up? Like, where is the heading of the ship? If it were to continue going in this direction, and now if the two ships were here, pointing these, and they were going in one direction, where would they meet up? I would give her a 95% chance of being able to discern that. And I rolled a 71. She's able to calculate it, and she tells me that it would take a significant number of jumps. Now, in the last episode, or episode 4, it took me 5 jumps to get from the bulwark station to the anomaly, to the object. 5 jumps. I'm going to roll 2d10s, and I'm going to roll 1d10 and add it to 10. Oh, 20 jumps to get there. All right, wow, that's a lot. Because the way I play this game is each jump has a chance to something happen. One of these jumps, I had to do a repair, and it took some significant time. Another one, I jumped into some energy that could have been fatal to me. Another one, I just needed some sleep and didn't want to be asleep when it happened. So that is a lot of jumps, and that's definitely getting me further and further away from civilized space. But the real question is, do I have enough information to feel that if I go back to the Wayfarers, have I done what they asked? I believe I have. I've gone to the coordinates, I've verified the derelict. But all I've got is that artifact. Ooh, the artifact. Let's talk about that artifact. The artifact is I tell Dervish we're going to stay here for just a little bit. The asteroid is no longer a danger to my ship. The derelict is stopped. I tell Dervish to go ahead and circle the ship and take some imagery to determine how much damage was done. I'm also curious to see if the ship reacts to us. It didn't react to the asteroid. And while she's doing that, I am going to go investigate this artifact that I took away from the derelict ship. So I have this object, and not quite sure how to do this. So let's see. I'm looking to see if there is anything that could help me determine what this thing is. Medical operations, production, research. Here we go. So, a precursor vault. I tell you what, I'm going to do a precursor vault roll, which is on page 361, but I'm going to shrink everything down just to help me get an idea of the shape and stuff. So let's do the shape real quick. The shape is on page 361. That is a 56. It is a disc. So the artifact, its basic shape, not its complete shape, its basic shape is disc shaped. But it has things attached to it. Can I discern anything about its material? 54. Metallic, smooth. Okay, so it's metallic. I asked Dervish to scan it. Does it give anything unusual? 48. She says there are some microglyphs on it, microglyphs that I didn't see with a human eye. She says there is so much writing on this object that it's tiny. It's the human eye cannot discern it. It's almost like microfilm or something so tiny. So there's microglyphs on it. I ask her, I say, are you able to decipher these microglyphs? Probably a 95% chance she cannot decipher any of it. 55, she says no. The language is definitely that we recognize that what we would call the precursor language, but we just don't have enough of the language yet to be able to discern. They have been able to discern numbers. That was one of the easier things to find. Math is always one of the things they say that two civilizations would share math. Math would be a common language, so to speak. But you can't get ideas and words across in numbers. But she does recognize that there are numbers on it. She recognizes repeating symbols. And I asked her to estimate what percentage of the writing is unique, or does it repeat itself? 21, we'll round that to 20. She says that it is 1/5 unique and it repeats. So around the edge of the disc, this writing is repeated 5 times. Interesting. Okay, the story gets better. I asked her if she can scan. Now the disc has objects connected to it. We'll just say 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's on these objects that the writing is on. And I ask her, I say, is there anything else that you can discern about the object? Like, what are these small circles that are embedded in the metal? Her first guess, 70 is, it says phasing in and out of reality. She's not able to discern that. So she's not able to determine anything about it. I do ask her, I say, the disc, how thick is the disc? We'll say centimeters. It's 3 centimeters thick. So yeah, it's got some heft to it, like a little bit thicker than a Frisbee. I say, are you able to scan the interior of the object? Let's give her a 60% chance. 26. She goes, yes, I can scan the interior of the object, and there are a number of, it's almost like an X-ray, but she's not able to determine their function. I ask her, I say, is the disc designed to be opened up? Is it something that I could, because I don't see any seams on it. Is it hollow? Obviously there's stuff inside. Can you discern how I might open this up? She's pretty smart. Let's give her a 50-50 shot. 76, no. No discernible way to open it. The metal, I don't want to cut into an artifact that I don't know what it is. I don't want to upset the wayfarers by damaging an object just because I'm too curious. I don't want to wait to see what's in it. So let's, we'll put the artifact on hold. And what I need to do is I need to decide, do we head back to report to Kira about what we found? I can send a message. Now a message would take, let's say I did 5 jumps, it would probably take the equivalent of 1 or 2 jumps, and then of course a return message, but I don't know how long it would take for them to send me a message. But I could send a message and say, hey, the ship is pointing in a direction. I will give a detailed message of everything we've encountered and explain the vectors and question whether or not do you want me to take the time to do these 20 jumps and see where this ship is pointing because of the reorientation. I will send that message and I will figure out how that message, I'll figure out what the response will be in the next episode. And I try to keep these under 30 minutes, so I'm going to have to call it quits right here, but I hope you'll join me in the next episode of Starforged. This is fun. I'm really enjoying this. It's letting me stretch my creativity and sort of improv a little bit. Definitely really enjoying this. I hope you are too. So, in about a week, I'll be back with another episode. Until then, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Join me next week to see what happens with Jax and the Astralis. And everyone, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.